Hello and welcome to the video for game design for Wednesday, August 26th. Hello,
Hello.
how you guys doing?
Hello?
Good.
Oh, pretty good.
Heyo.
Hey there. Hey, well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the attendance sheet and start doing that while you guys are getting all started up in class here. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm just going to look at the list of people who are on the call, the video call, and start checking off your names here in attendance. So let's see. I see Isai, you're up there at the top of the list.
Hello, yes.
And then I've got Eduardo.
Yep.
Hi, Eduardo.
What's up?
And then let's see. I've got Britt is here. And Jazz. And Nick. And I don't see Sydney. Okay, so no Sydney. Jeshua, I thought I saw you just a second ago. There you are.
Yep.
And then Hunter is
Right here.
Hi.
Yep.
Hi.
Hello.
Brian.
Here.
Here. Okay, cool. Joshua. I don't see Joshua. Okay. Creed is here.
Yep.
And then, hello, Creed. Let's see. Olivia. Oh, Sam is coming in right now. Olivia. Okay. And then let's see. Coulter is here. Estevan is here. Michael. No, Michael. Jesse. Are you here, Jesse? I don't think you are. Okay. Let's see. Next we have Hugo's here.
He's in the he's in Discord.
Oh, Jesse is in Discord.
Yeah, I'm typing with him right now.
All right, so I'm going to assume he's going to be here. So,
yeah.
All right, Jesse is in fact in Discord. Okay, then Logan, I think I saw you.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, Logan's here. And then Victoria. Okay, there's Jesse coming in right now. I don't see Victoria. I saw Sam. And I thought I saw Jaden. Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Jaden. And then Cal. Yeah. All right. All right. I think we got a good bunch of you, so that's good. Okay. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing
Good.
good.
Not so bad.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Doing well so far.
Anybody have anything interesting happen to them this week?
Not yet.
Got a new roof.
Giant spider.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. It's like saying, have you had anything interesting happening to you in your life? And I'm like, not yet.
Yeah, right.
I'm waiting. It's bound to happen. I just read. Okay, this is bad news for you guys, but I just read that life becomes happier when you turn 47. So you got a long way to go.
I got a while ago. Yeah,
You're going to be hurting
like
for.
halfway there.
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but that's just the way it is. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Eduardo, you just joined the class, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you happen to watch any of the videos or anything that were on the website?
No, I did not.
So what we've been doing, this is like the third class, I think. Um, we we divided the class up into teams, and then the teams started to work on a game concept. But some people worked solo, or I should say, some people are working as solo developers to come up with a game idea. And so, if you'd like to, at least on this first project, you can work as a solo developer, or if there's a team out there that is looking for some fresh meat, there's one. Do any of you teams are you looking for another member, or should we just have Eduardo do his thing on his own?
Well, for our team, Luis actually just left the class, so if he wanted to join our team, we're short one person now.
Well, that would be
All
perfect.
right.
Okay, that would be perfect. So I'm going to bring up my list here of the teams. Okay, so Creed, Luis just left, so we're adding Eduardo on to team 4, right?
Cool. Yep.
Okay, so you now have a team, sir. Thank you, Creed.
Yeah, you made it, man.
Cool.
Thanks.
So Eduardo, you're familiar with Discord and all that good stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure your team members will fill you in, but Jazz was nice enough to set up Discord channels for everybody, and so your team has a channel, and they can kind of catch you up on what they've been doing, and also they're going to update all of us on what they've been doing today, so you can just kind of catch up by listening.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. And in fact, I think that's a great introduction to doing that, which is maybe we'll just start with your team, Creed, and you can update us on where you are with things and share anything you want with us as far as files and stuff, and that'll give Eduardo a chance to see what you guys have been up to.
Yeah. So I've slowly been kind of working on the rules and mechanics of the game and stuff like that. But yeah, we were chatting in Discord, and we were kind of trying to divvy up like who was going to do box art and card artwork and stuff like that. And so we were trying to figure that out. And in the process, Luis let us know that he was going to be leaving the class. So we're still kind of trying to figure out who's going to do what in terms of like box art, card art, stuff like that. Because I was going to start working. I've been kind of working on developing the rules as of right now. So
Perfect. And then,
Yeah.
so Eduardo, do you have any skills in those areas? Are you an artist at all?
And somewhat, yeah. I've been drawing, well, anime, if you know what that is.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys can connect and see what all will happen with that. Okay, and then Eduardo, if you can look in the chat for this class, Jazz sent a link here, which is an invite to the class server on Discord. So, are you able to get to that to see that?
Hold on. Where's the chat thing?
There should be a little button, maybe it's under more or something, or a little chat icon at the bottom.
If you hover over the Zoom meeting window, it should be it should be a speech bubble with a chat in the roughly the middle of the window.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, and then you can see over on the right, there's his little link you can copy and go to. Okay, cool.
All right.
So Creed, is there anything? Do you have anything to share with us, or maybe not because of the sort of disruption to your team?
Yeah, not quite yet, honestly, unfortunately. Just more like I have been working on trying to figure out how the battle system is going to work and stuff like that when you encounter an enemy, how that's all going to shake out. So,
Okay.
but so far, not a lot.
Okay, so we'll check in with you guys next week then on that.
Sounds good.
Okay. So let me jump down to that's team 4. Let me jump down to team 3. Looks like we got to have Jaden as the captain of that. So Jaden, do you want to update us on where you guys are with your stuff?
Yeah, so we're right now just focused on getting the art on cards done and focused. They've been exchanging concepts for different cards and how we're going to differentiate them from each other.
Okay.
But yeah, for now that's just kind of where we are.
Yeah. So nothing necessarily to show.
Um, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I don't think any of you guys have any actual like finished products yet, right? They're just
We
sketches.
we
Yeah,
have the
no, we
rough.
have some concept sketches and stuff, and um, one of the other teammates is working on, I believe, the logo of the game. Nothing finished yet because I want to make sure the artwork looks good, but I have the basic idea of what all the cards are going to look like.
So would you rather show us a sketch and get feedback, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, is there a general channel I could just post all my stuff on Discord so everybody could see it?
Yeah, there's a general.
Yeah, just general chat. Go for it.
All right.
I have all my stuff on my phone. I'll post some of the stuff in a second. You'll see it pop up in a little bit.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we also discussed after the last class we're not gonna have a team captain. We're all just gonna kind of be responsible for each other and making sure we all kind of have full parts done for this project.
Okay. So I'm going to
If you
take
could
you.
change that.
I took you off the captain role, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so like some more of like the game aspect that we were thinking of is kind of like last class we talked about how what we could put on like the back of the card, and we kind of thought that like maybe a way to like show to the other players on the back of the card that could show something like what's in their hand kind of thing, so it'd be kind of easier to when we were talking about like everything staying in order and everything not getting out of hand and stuff. So we're kind of thinking like maybe adding like a symbol or something on the back of the card to like kind of, give it an extra step.
Okay. So in other words, a symbol on the back of the card that might tell what kind of card it is, and that
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
kind of know what people have, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I can see. So you just posted some artwork, right, in Discord? Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I got some of the I thought it'd be cool, like just for the general aesthetic, we went with Western, so I've just been basing all my artwork around that. I'm not quite sure if we'll change all the symbols to like more Westerny symbols. Like instead of a heart, we'd have like a sun or a horseshoe or something like that. It's still up in the air of what exactly we're gonna do, but I just have some basic sketches. I thought it'd be cool to base like the red and the blue, not blue, the red and the black cards on like different like archetypes. Like all the black cards would be like evil archetypes, like the oil oligarch, and all the red archetypes would be like good archetypes, like the sheriff or the cowgirl or something like that.
Okay. Cool. Well, you guys want to give Coulter any feedback on his work here?
Please.
It's pretty good so far. I mean, it's all just sketches, and it looks like you did pretty well with them.
Yeah, we
Yeah, the
thought.
only thing I'm gonna change in the future, just to make it easier, like more traditional poker cards have like the two half bodies, so you don't actually have to flip the card around to see the full body, because it might let another player know like, oh, they might have a king or a queen or a jester because they flipped their card around to the correct position. So that's the only thing I'm gonna do. So I'm basically just gonna figure out how to cut all the portraits in half, rearrange them so they look nice. Like this is all just very rough concept stuff. I've
Hmm.
gotten pumped out so far, but I have a good idea of what I'm with everything.
Yeah, I think this looks great. I mean, your sketches are really nice, and even at this point, it's really easy to see the direction you're heading in, and that's really helpful for everybody on the team because they can look at it, say, well, let's go more this way, or let's go more that way, or I like this style, or maybe you could try this. So it's incredibly helpful to have any kind of prototype as early as possible, really.
Yeah.
Um, Now, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about, so it looks like you're taking the traditional symbols, star, heart, space,
Yeah.
and club. You're making them to maybe a sheriff's badge, a bullet, a sun, and then we've got
Yeah.
horseshoe, cow skull, or human skull, right?
Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to play around with a little bit. It might be a little bit hard to translate into the actual game because just everybody knows what the basic poker setup is, and changing that might confuse people. You want the game to be as readable as possible. So that's just something I was playing around with. All I know for sure is like all the letters and numbers. I want them to like reflect like a sunset, and then like kind of the night sky here. Just have it all like very pretty and deserty themed.
Okay. Now talking about what you just said about how you don't want to confuse people, you want people to know that a king's a king and a queen's a queen, so to speak.
Yeah,
Have you guys considered at all maybe renaming those cards to be things that fit this theme? So instead of a king, maybe they'd be, the oil tycoon, or maybe the king would be the sheriff, and maybe the queen.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Have you talked about that or thought?
Yeah.
And what
Um,
what did you
Not
think?
specifically changing the names for the three archetypes. Like just for the jester, I don't know what would kind of fit like the Joker archetype in like old westerns because usually it's all very black and white. So I just put like a bunch of different like bovine, like a cow, a horse. I have a buffalo planned, and then I also have a few more sketches of like a ram because there's lots of rams in Arizona, so I thought that'd be cool to put in.
Okay. Yeah, so any way you go with this, I mean, I love the Western theme. I love the way you're customizing it to that. And so anything that you guys think will work will be just wonderful.
Yeah,
Um, okay, and then and like you said, you're talking about putting something on the back that would indicate, what the cards are, or kind of something like that. Now,
yeah.
is somebody else working on that?
I haven't worked on that yet. I'm thinking of divvying out a little bit more of the work, mainly
Yeah.
for font and symbols and stuff like that, to maybe one of the other teammates if they want to take up that stuff. I'm not sure yet. Um, yeah, that's still up in the air. It might be helpful. Like, I think the best thing to do instead of like, oh, this person has like an ace of hearts, It'd be helpful to just have, okay, they have a heart card for all the hearts, a spade card for all the spade cards, like on the back, so you could tell what set they have, but not necessarily what number or what thing they have. We haven't discussed this too much yet for the backs. I've mainly just been focusing on the artwork because I'm an artsy fartsy
We're
person.
we're gonna have a separate person designing the chips as well,
Oh, okay. Um,
and we'll have like logos on that, like stars or something like that, something westerny.
it
Yeah.
sounds
Saguaros, anything
um,
anything western.
I wanted to show you a resource, and you'll see me repeatedly come back to this site, Vecteezy.
Yeah.
And like this site has like, playing card templates and stuff like that on it. I don't know if those would be useful to you guys, at least to get started. But check this out if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely. Like I pulled up like just a reference image to make sure I had just the basics down for like the images. As you can see on the bottom there, I just had like the full deck out.
Okay.
But I'll probably eventually I need to make like a standardized like card size for everything. But yeah.
Okay. And let me give you a resource to make the standardized card size. So, you know, obviously, this class, it's kind of a weird semester because, of the virus and everything like that.
Yeah.
But what we've done in the past, and so, you know, currently what we're doing is we're working virtually, and you guys are creating electronic games that are then, you're creating artwork on the computer. You're putting that into an electronic game format like Tabletop Simulator, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna play the games there. However, there is the possibility that we might actually be able to produce these games in the real world, which is something that we like to do for the completed games that the teams do. So
Yeah.
let me show you guys a resource that I'd like you to use for when you make things like cards and stuff. There is a website called thegamecrafter.com. This is it right here, okay? And we have an account set up on this this website where we can order games. You know, if you guys basically create a game using our account and then
Yeah.
upload all the artwork to it, we can order it. All right.
Yeah.
So
That'd be cool.
yeah. So what you need to know is you need to know what the username and the password are for the Pima account. So what you do is you go to thegamecrafter.com, and I will put this on the class website so you'll be able to link to it and whatever.
All right.
You click on the not signed in, you click sign in, and then you have to use my Pima email address, which is gjlemo@pima.edu. And then the password is PCCGames, all lowercase.
All right.
And I will put that into the website. Like I said, now once you log in, you can click on Make Games, and then you go to My Games, and there's going to be a bunch of games in here that were created by different students and stuff. And all you have to do is say you're going to create a custom game. So give me just a fake name for your game.
Cowpoke.
Okay, great, perfect. Okay, so what we do is we create a game called Cowpunk, and we click Create a Custom Game. Now, once this is created, you can go in here and you can say, hey, I want to make a card deck, right? So you click on Decks,
Yeah.
and then you pick what size card you want, and I'm assuming it's a poker deck, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Do you know just we might not necessarily like make this in real life, but do you know if you upload images, if it automatically kind of saves it in the format, and then you can download it like as a texture if we wanted to put it in a tabletop simulator to test it out?
well, it's a different format. So in other words, if you look right now, we're in the poker deck section of the GameCraft.
Yeah.
Now, if you look over here, you'll see that, and this is what I wanted to show you. You can download templates in like Photoshop and Illustrator, and then you can make your cards that size. Now, I would recommend you do that, because then if we want to print the game, all you have to do is upload the finished artwork to this site, and we can print it. But the way that you have to put it into Tabletop Simulator is very different. And I'll show you an example of that.
All
So
right.
here we are in Cowpoke, right? And we click Add a Deck, right? And so it adds a fake deck. And then what you can do is you can create as many sets of cards as you want. So let's say that you want 10 of your cards to have a certain back on them and 10 of them have a different back on them. You can just, basically add a new deck. Like, so we could say, okay, this deck is going to have 10 cards.
Yeah.
And we add a deck, and then this deck is going to have 10 cards, right? Now, for the back, you just click on this, and you upload whatever artwork you have. Here, I'm
All
going
right.
to. Was there a question?
No, I was nodding along.
Okay, so I'm gonna upload. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna pretend that this is the back of my card of this deck right here. Oh, it's telling me it has to be a certain size, so I'm not gonna bother changing it. But anyway,
All right.
you upload the back of your card, and then you click Edit Cards, and then in the next screen you upload. You can add placeholders, and basically this is where you upload all the fronts of your cards. Okay, so once again, you can divide your deck up into as many different decks as you want, and then put in backs and fronts for all the cards. Now let me show you how the template looks in both Photoshop and Illustrator. If you click on Photoshop and you hit Open, this is how the template looks. Now, obviously you're going to turn this stuff off when you turn in your final card or whatever. These are just guidelines. And what you do is it says your artwork here, right? But really the easiest thing to do is make a new layer, put all your artwork on that, and then just turn this off when you submit it, right? But there's a couple things you need to know about this. First of all, this dotted blue line is what's called the safe zone. And you have
Yeah.
to make sure that all the artwork that you want to get printed is inside of this safe zone. Okay? Next, we have a red line here, which is called the cut line, and that's literally where they're going to cut the card in that sort of rounded rectangle shape. And then we have the gray area here, which is called the bleed zone. Now, the way the bleed zone works is if you wanted your colors, say, to have a blue background that went all the way to the edge, what you would do is you would, make a layer, you would fill it with blue. I'm going to select all. And you would make sure, oh, well, there's black. Where's my blue? Okay. So basically, you would make sure, I'm gonna make this semi-transparent so we can see through it. You would make sure that your blue color went all the way to the edge of the template. That way, when they cut this cut line, even if the cut line moves a little bit, it'll always get the blue in the background, right?
Yeah.
So this is how you set up your cards. Now, what I recommend, like I said, is that you make your cards this size so they can be printed if we want to print them. Now, let me show you how you import these into Tabletop Simulator. In Tabletop Simulator, they have a template that you can use to bring your cards in, and I'll show you where that is. But you can also just do it from scratch. The only thing that you need to know is Tabletop Simulator requires you to have 10 cards going across on your file. You can have as many or as few rows going up and down, but you got to have 10 cards going across. So let me just show you an example. So this image is 2.75 wide, right? Which means that if I take this document and I go image canvas size, and I say, well, what I want for this document is I want to multiply it by 10. So now I want it to be 27.5 inches wide, right? Okay, now what that means is I could go in here, I could take my layers, and I'm just going to take all this artwork, just for the sake of speed and everything. I'm just going to merge all these layers into one layer. Okay, great. So now what I'm going to do is just go, Option Shift this thing over here. I wish that Photoshop had the same thing that Illustrator has, where you can just hit a button and it'll do the same thing over again. Maybe they have it and nobody told me, but anyway, just give me 2 seconds and I'll finish this. So what you can see that I'm doing is I'm taking 10 cards and I'm putting them across the span of this file.
Yeah.
So 2 more. Okay, now you can see I didn't do it perfectly because I have some extra there, but that's okay. I'm just trying to do a demo for you. Now, you take this file right here, and this is the file that you can upload to Tabletop Simulator. All it requires is that you have 10 cards in a row going across. Now, if you want to have 2 or 3 rows of 10 cards, or you want to have 1 row of 10 cards and then 1 row of 5 cards, that's fine. When you import it into Tabletop Simulator, it's going to say how many cards do you have across the top, and it's fixed at 10. So, okay, it's got to be 10, right? And then it's going to say how many rows do you have, and I could say 1 row, and then it's going to say how many cards do you have, and I'm going to say 10, right? And so it would take this and it would slice it up into 10 even slices, and it would produce my cards. Now this is for the front of the cards, right? And then if you had like one back image that would apply to all the cards, you would upload that separately, and that would just be, of course, 1 image size, right? Okay, and so I'll show you guys when we get closer to it. I'll show you guys an example of actually importing that in a Tabletop Simulator. Okay, does anybody have any questions about any of that stuff we just talked about? Okay, anybody have any more feedback for this team on their work, the game they're working on?
So I was gonna ask, in the very first image you posted on Discord with the A and the 1-4, that's what you want. That's like your concept for how the letters and numbers are gonna look on the tops and bottoms of the card.
Yeah, just like
I love it.
I
It's
just
so cool.
that was like the first thing I thought of was
Yeah.
just like the kind of Western lettering and stuff.
Right. No, and it's so cool how like instead of going red and black, you go more like you were saying the sunset colors. So they're like orange and blues. That's really cool. I like it a
Yeah.
lot.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. It looks like you got some good feedback here. Some people said that they liked it a lot. And then, of course, here's a tip for open source people. GIMP, which is the Photoshop alternative, is free and everybody can use that thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very nice. Good job, guys. All right. So let's go on to the next team. Let's see. I'm going to pop this up. Okay. So that was team 3. So team 2. How are you guys doing, team 2?
Pretty good.
Okay. You wanna talk to us about that, Hunter? What you guys got going on?
All right. So we created a simple map of like the layout, how the game's gonna work with a grid. I'll send it into the chat real quick. Just let me exit out of here.
Okay.
Or you can just open up the Team 2 text channel.
Oh yeah, that it's there too.
Oh, okay.
So if you scroll up, there it is.
Wait, I saw it. That?
Again, very, very rough. We were just talking about making it look like an old pirate map,
Oh, nice.
like with the parchment look, but it's again very rough. If you click on it, you can zoom in a little bit. There we are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, I would say to you guys the same thing that I said to the last team, which is if you log into, after I put my login on the website and everything like that, if you guys log into this website, the Game Crafter, you can get a template for a board. And what you would probably use, you would come down here to folding boards, and you would use this one called the quad fold board game, right? And you would just come down here. You could choose either Illustrator or Photoshop. Let me just open the Photoshop one so you can see what it looks like. It's essentially like the card thing that we just saw. Let me go ahead and put a white background on this so you can see through all the transparent stuff, or I should say, see what's going on with all the transparent stuff. So I'm trying to make my screen a little bigger here. Let's see, view, fit. There we go. Okay. So what you have here is the green line is the fold line of the board, and this is also a fold line, and then this red line is actually a cut line, because to fold a four fold board, they need to have a cut somewhere in the middle. Then this thin red line on the very outside is the crop line, right? The gray area is what they call the bleed area, which means if you want your color, if you want it to cut it and still, show color, you have to pull your color all the way to the edge of the file, like we just showed in the card. And then, of course, if we zoom way in, you'll see that there's also what's called a safe zone on this. Anything inside the blue line, that's where you want to put all your artwork that you want to keep. Because when you're printing things move around on the printing press, and when you cut, they don't always cut in the perfect place. So that's why they have a safe zone that's like 1/8 of an inch away from the cut line, right? So yeah, what I would recommend for you guys is download this and put your artwork on it so that, if we end up wanting to print a physical copy of the game, you can actually do that.
Okay.
All right. So any feedback for these folks about their game board?
Looks pretty cool so far. I like the pirate map idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I like it.
Thank you.
Now, have you guys thought? Oh, go ahead, Jazz, please.
The only thing that occurred to me thematically was put the compass on the map and only with an N.
That'd be smarter.
Okay, that's a good idea. Now, I have a question for you guys about the grid. I mean, I know that this is just a sketch and everything, but have you guys figured out the exact amount of boxes you're going to use?
I think we said 50-50, 50 by 50.
Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty key, pretty important. And of course, if you're using a program like Illustrator or Photoshop, you can put the grid on a separate layer, and then you'll be able to do things like change the transparency of it and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like it. It looks like what you said. It looks like sort of a pirate version of Battleship, which is, where you're starting out. So that's cool. Okay, any other feedback for these guys? Okay, it looks good. Nice job. All right, let's go to the next team. Okay, which is team 1. And let's see, we've got Jazz, Nick, Logan, and Jesse.
So yeah, we didn't get a whole lot more done in the past 2 days, but we did at the end of last class discuss a kind of pivot they wanted to do. They wanted to change it more to a mercenary type game in the cyberpunk setting. So we'll be coming up with the stats, probably in attack, defense, and some other wild card stat. But we haven't actually discussed any of that yet.
Okay, so basically you're at this in-between point where you're still developing, you don't necessarily have anything to show.
Right.
Okay, that's fine, but progress is being made.
Yes, in some form. We definitely need to find better slots we can all fit together.
Okay. Yeah, now what you might consider also is, if you're having trouble finding a slot where everybody fits, maybe you break your team up into mini teams and like, Jazz, let's say that you and I'm just throwing names out here. But let's say that you and Jesse are tasked with working on like game mechanics or something. So then maybe just the two of you meet and hash all that out and then present it to the other team members, and maybe the two of them are a team that's working on graphics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, the division of labor is definitely something I've been considering in the past 2 days, just talking to different people. So
Okay. Figuring things out. Okay,
yeah.
sounds good. Now then, we have some solo people who are developing. Any of you solo people have anything, an update on your game?
For me, I really haven't had anything much to show for. I'm still figuring out if I want to put, since I'm doing a roulette game.
Uh-huh.
It's like you said on Monday. It's not very skill based. It's more luck. So maybe if I add like another number to the table and add like a different game mode to it, it could change it a little bit.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Or you could even do something like, I know this sounds ridiculous, but maybe there's like a mechanism you could add where somebody could reach out and press a button and actually stop the roulette wheel at a certain point. And then theoretically, I guess that would be introducing some skill, although, there's still a hell of a lot of luck in that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you picked a game that's 100% luck. So, you know, you could either continue down that road and see if you can add modifications to it, or you could even consider mutating the game. Like, what if you invented a new game, which is like, what if you took roulette and tried to bring it down the scale halfway down to meet skill? Instead of 100% luck, what if you could devise a game from that was half skill and half luck? That would be an interesting challenge. Now you don't have to do that. It's just a suggestion, in case that's the way you're heading, as far as development goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So you're going to work on those ideas?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else working as a solo person?
I am, but I haven't. I've just been thinking about how I'm gonna implement the battle part of it, since it is still technically a Monopoly game.
Okay.
So I really haven't had much progress the past 2 days.
Okay. So, and also I will say that, between Monday and Wednesday is a hard time to try and make progress because people are working and they're going to school. And then, of course, between Wednesday and Monday is a much better time to try and make some progress because you got the weekend in there, right? And, assuming you're not somebody who goes to school or works on the weekend. So, it's possible that you guys will have greater leaps of progress between Wednesday and Monday than Monday and Wednesday. And that's fine. But what I would like to see is, it would be nice if you could show some sort of progress, even if it's just a sketch or an idea that has evolved or something like that. See if you can, and I know it's difficult because we're all very busy, but see if you can bring one new thing to the table every class. Even if it's just, hey, I came up with a name for my game, or I took this drawing of a cow and turned it into a bull. And the way that will help you is, there's so much work involved with doing a game that if you work incrementally and do little pieces every day, you'll see more progress than if you do nothing and then try to do a ton of work. So try, and I know it's not always possible, but try to evolve that, move the stone forward a little bit every day if you can. Okay, great. So I think that's our update on the games. Let me go to the class website here. Okay. Okay, and let me go over to our game area. Okay, perfect. And then let me scroll down. All right, boom. Okay, so, okay, a couple things I wanted to mention to you guys. Sort of, whenever I see interesting articles, I try to point them your direction, or sometimes I'll see even a movie or a TV series or something that is very worthwhile. Now, it just so happens that there is a series on Netflix right now. Let me find it here in Netflix. Okay, it's not Lucifer. I know you guys all want to watch that, but I'm sorry, we're not going to watch that. Okay, let's see. How come it's not letting me scroll over in freaking Netflix? What's going on with my computer? Okay, I just want to get over here. Ah, there it is. All right, stop. Okay, so there is this. I wish I could give. I'm trying to figure out how to get to the preview version of this. Okay, let me just go to.
Check maybe the bottom of the episode list might have a trailer option.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it might, but I'm not sure. No.
Oh, okay.
Of course not.
Well, sometimes they'll have, like up here at the top, you can go through things. Sorry, we're getting the whole Lucifer thing here. I tell you what, maybe if I go out on the internet, Netflix high score trailer. Okay, cool. Yes, the trailer. Thank you.
Video games afford you the opportunities to start over. In games, we all start at the exact same place to play together because we're all playing by the same rules. Long before the internet, a handful of visionaries reimagined the world. We felt that we were creating world-changing technology. I had no idea what to expect. People no longer played video games, they played Nintendo.
It all started when our hero Mario had a very strange dream.
Having a fast console wasn't enough for Sega. They needed a new hit game. You see kids screaming, Sega, Sega! They woke up Nintendo. They're the biggest consumer electronics company on the planet. Coming after us. Awesome. It is a sick video game. Shame on people that produce that trash. I think the worst game of all time.
What we did back then was ahead of its time, but the time is now.
Okay, so this is actually really good. It's a 6-part series. It's on Netflix. I assume most of you guys have access either through your own account or through somebody's password they gave you or something like that. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's just enjoyable. And it's fun to learn where all of these things came from, all of the ideas. If you play games like Warcraft or, any sort of first-person shooter games or whatever, it's really interesting to go back and see see them talk to the guy who created Ultima, and see how primitive the games were, and see the origin of these ideas, and see how they morphed into what they are today. It's not only entertaining, but it's also useful, you know, as a game designer. So like I said, it's a 6-part series. I watched 3 of them so far. I'm trying to watch one every night. Check it out. It's really fun, really cool, and you'll learn a lot. You'll probably enjoy it too. Okay, so that is the Netflix thing. There's also an article here which you can check out on your own time if you're interested. I found this really interesting. This guy, he calls himself the bottom feeder. Thoughts on indie game development, humor, general crabbiness, and bad feelings. I am the cheapest bastard in indie games, right? Now, this guy, he creates articles in the same way he creates games, which is, it's, you know, the text is too big, the graphics are really rough, and so on and so forth. But he makes a pretty compelling argument. He basically says, I am a game designer who is like the cheapest bastard on the planet. And what I do is I write the code, and then I find the cheapest possible way to get game art. I mean, like, you know, if I can use clip art, I'll do that. If I have to pay somebody, I'll pay them, and I'll get a good deal, and I'll get just enough art that looks just good enough so that I didn't spend a ton of money on the game because I did all the program myself. Then I'll put the game out through, you know, the App Store or whatever in Google, and I'll make X amount of money on each game because I have an audience that I've built up over the years for my casual games. Now, this guy has figured out a formula to make a living out of creating indie games. And because it's a business, he runs his business as efficiently as possible. Like I said, he writes all the code. He pays the minimum amount for artwork that he needs to make sure the artwork looks just good enough that it's an enjoyable game. And then he puts out these games on a regular basis to an existing audience, which, you know, grows a little bit every time. And he's got a system, and it works. This guy makes a living doing this. Now, this may not be your idea of how you want to get into the game industry. You know, maybe you want to go work for Blizzard or something and make 6 figures coming out of school. You know, I do too, but you know, it's an alternative, and it's worth a read, and it's some interesting stuff. So check that out if you get a chance, right? Okay, so I have a note here to myself: demo how to import cards where the template is, and how to use Tabletop Simulator. So this is probably worth doing today. Now I got to give you some advance notice. When I start up Steam and Tabletop Simulator, my computer slows down to a crawl. Maybe you guys have the same experience. But what's going to happen is you're going to hear my audio just fine, but my video is going to become very slow. It's not going to sync up to my audio, right? But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up Steam. I hope it doesn't crash everything in the world. And then I'm going to start up Tabletop Simulator, and I will show you where you can get the template and how to import cards. Okay, so give it a second here. It's starting up Steam. Could not connect. Okay, what's up with that? Oh, it figures. It figures, doesn't it? Like the time you're trying to do a demo, that it would just go. It's like the only time this has ever happened, right?
Right. It looks like somebody blew the Tuesday builds.
Right.
There we go.
This is tradition.
Yeah, if that's the case, we'll try again. Oh, there we go. We got some Steam action. Okay, so once you purchase Tabletop Simulator, it will show up here. Now, what I wanted to show you guys was, here's where you can find the template. If you go to Library, and let's see, I think you go to, no, that's not it. Let's see, Library, Downloads. Oh, shit. Why
Go back to the library.
Library, right?
Right-click Tabletop Simulator.
Okay. Oh, thank you, thank you. So,
Manage and then browse local game files.
Right, thank you. Browse local files. You should be doing this, Jazz. I'm clearly out of my element here. Okay. So then what happens is you go down here to deck templates, and you get this cards template.jpg, right? Now I'm going to just open this right? Now remember what I told you, that they have to be 10 cards across and they can be as many rows as you want. Now here's the interesting point. Your cards don't have to exactly fit into these sizes. It's just whatever document you upload has to have 10 cards across as the minimum, right? So in other words, my other document, and I don't know if it's still here, yeah, this one, you can see that these cards are a little thicker, a little wider than these cards. Maybe you can see that. But I could still upload this document and have it be a successful import of cards to Tabletop Simulator. In fact, I'll probably do that just to show you that it can be done. So, and of course my cards are going to be a little imperfect because I did them so fast that, there's going to be some junk in there, some little spaces in between them. But if I just crop this image, I now have 10 cards across, right, that are all going to look like this little template. And then all I have to do is go File, export, and export it as a ping. I'll just call it card row on my desktop. Okay, now I've got that row of cards. I can also take their big thing here and just export this. I'll call this card row 2, and we'll see. Okay, and we'll see how they import. Okay, so anyway, once you are in Steam, you can click on Tabletop Simulator to start it up. Once you're in Tabletop Simulator, you have to do something called creating a server, which, creates an area where you can build your game. And, it does take up a lot of the computer space. Okay. So once you're in Tabletop Simulator, you can join existing games that are out there on the server, or you can create games, right? And so I can click Create. You can create a single player game or a multiplayer game. I'm going to create a multiplayer game. And then what you have to do is you just have to come up with a server name, and you have to come up with a password, right? And you can put in how many players you want and whether it's going to be a public game, a game just for friends, or a game that's invite only, right? So I'm going to hit Create Server here. And then what's going to happen is it's going to pop up this screen. You can see my video is out of sync right now, right? But hopefully you can hear my voice, that's not slowed down or anything. Anyway, so you have existing games that maybe you made or worked on. You have other games. Some of them are what we call premium games, and you have to pay for those. And then, of course, you can create a brand new game, right? So, for example, if I click on Classic here, it will allow me to make a game that is in a classic format, like, for example, poker. And you could make a poker game and then import your cards, right? Or if you want to make a board game, you click on Custom, right? And then it will create a game for you. You can see it put in a sample board and a sample deck. And then all you have to do is upload your graphic for this, and you can put your board in there, right? So let me see if I have a board that I can, oops, I gotta go find something. Let's see. I don't know how much luck I'll have because my computer is going to be so slow. What's another one? Maybe, all right, just give me 1 second here. I think I might be able to find a board. There we go. Miscellaneous. Oops. And let's see. Is there anything called like game board or something in here? 6-fold game board. That's probably pretty huge. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll see what the hell happens with this. Okay. Now, when you're uploading it, you want to upload it to the cloud so that it can be seen by everybody. And then you want to do import. Okay, and there it is. Now, you can see that, obviously my board is a 6-fold board on like probably a 4-fold table or something like that. You can go up here to where it says objects, and you can change the table. So we can click on this table here, and we could say we want a rectangular table, and there you go. Now, it automatically comes with these little pieces, that you can use. It also has sound effects. I don't know if you can hear them when it's, when they're landing on the board. They make little sounds. If you want to get rid of something, you can just right-click on it and say delete, and it doesn't have to be there anymore. There's dice that you can roll by right-clicking and hitting roll. And of course, you can import tokens and cards and stuff like that. Now, you also, under this objects menu here, you're able to do things like import 3D objects, right? So you can go under components and you can import, you can import things that are already in the library, like blocks. You can import boards, cards. You can import chess pieces. You can import Go pieces and even figurines. They've got some 3D figurines in here you could bring in. And then you have things like tools, like calculators. You can bring in bags and all kinds of stuff. A bowl to store things in, and a quarter. You could just grab a quarter and drag it on down here, and here's a bowl to store, pieces in and stuff like that. So there's plenty of cool stuff in there. And then if you want to bring in something from scratch, you would just go to the appropriate area, which would be custom, and then you tell it what you're going to import. So you're going to import a figurine that's going to be, like kind of a standee. Are you going to import a 3D model, right? So I could click on 3D model, and then I would have to go out and get the actual model that I was going to import and bring it in, right? Now let's see if we can import those card thingies that I made. So I'm going to go here. Okay, custom model. Let's see if I can bring anything in. Soldier, maybe soldier 8. Okay, let's see. Select, cloud, upload, figurine, import. Let's see how much luck we have with this. Oh, there he is. Okay, so you can see I imported this 3D model. You can scale that model down if you want. You can right-click on him and you can, scale him up or down. You can give him just a color tint, whatever you want or whatever. Now this 3D model, I actually got this off of Thingiverse for free, and I made sure that it was something that where the license was that anybody could use it without a commercial purpose, right? So in other words, it was royalty-free model. And so this could become a token that you use in your game, right? Now, for just kind of the last thing that I'll do in here, let me go ahead and try and import a deck. So let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the face of the cards is going to be that file that I saved, which is called card row on my desktop. Let's see. And that's going to be super fun to find because there's so much junk on my desktop. Okay, let's see. I should be close. Card row. There we go. Card row ping. Okay. Now we'll say cloud, right? Card row. Okay. So notice that it asks me how many cards it has, and I say 10. It says, what is the height of it? Well, it's basically 1 card high, or, oh, I'm sorry. It says it has to be 2 cards high. So there you go. The default is 2 rows of 10. It asks me how many cards there are, and I guess I'll say there's 20. Now what that means is, unfortunately, because I didn't set this up correctly, there's going to be 20 cards where 10 of them are blank, and 10 of them will be that that poker card template. Now it says, what is the file for the back? And so if I can search for a poker card, let's see, or just poker, maybe I can find the template. Okay, it's too slow on the search, so I'm not going to pick anything for the back. So let's just do import and see what happens. You must supply a back image. Okay, great. That sucks. Okay, all right. Let's go to. I'm just going to get that one that I used before. Oh, actually, you know what? If I go into downloads, there has to be one called poker because there's always one called poker. But see, this stupid thing won't let me get to downloads. Okay, anyway, I'll just go to miscellaneous and bring in one of my cards that I know will work. Okay, so we're just going to go to the master cards, I guess. Whatever, just get something in there. Cloud, we don't care. Upload, okay. All right, so these cards are going to look bizarre, but that's okay. Okay, so here we go. I can zoom in on this deck. It's funny, my cards, I guess I imported it the wrong way or something, so my card got all stretched out. But you can see that this is the back. I just brought in some junk artwork, and this is the back of the card. You hover over it and hit the letter F to flip it over. Yeah, it looks like somehow I must have clicked sideways or something. I didn't mean to, but somehow I got my cards all jacked up so that they're coming in sideways, right? Now, but I mean, at least it worked. You know, if you spend a little more time than I did, where I'm just kind of blowing through this, you can easily make a really good-looking deck of cards and import it into Tabletop Simulator. Okay, now one other thing about Tabletop Simulator, and then I'll see if you guys have any questions. It does have physics built into it. So, for example, there are some tools in here that will allow you to shoot things. Like you can take your mouse, and I'll see if I can show you an example of this. If I take this die and I put it in the center of the screen, and I go over here and I click on this thing called the flick tool, I can actually flick this thing across, you know, the screen. So, for example, in the roulette game, you could actually bring in a 3D model, which is, you know, if you've got a working roulette wheel that's 3D, you could bring in a 3D model and somebody could use this flick to actually power it and get it to spin around. That's something to think about, right? Okay, now before I jump out of here, anybody have any questions or want to see any demos or anything?
You should. Oh, yo, flip the table since that's one of the features.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Here, I'll do one last thing for you. I'll show you a game that I'm working on. A former student and I are working on this game. This is called Skyrose, and I guess it has sort of a Catan feel to it or whatever. It's a giant mess right now because we had a meeting last Tuesday, and we were sitting in here and we're picking things up and moving them around and saying, okay, what if we do this or whatever. But so this game, you can see, I'll show you some of the components that it has in it. These are figurines, right? I'm sorry, I'm still flicking things. Let me go back to this, right? So these are figurines. This was a two-dimensional graphic that I had as a ping file. And when you import it, it gives it a transparent background, right? Here are some 3D objects that I got off of thingiverse.com. Everything that you see in here that's 3Ds, the mountains, the trees, the castles, those were all Thingiverse, right? Some things I made them here in Tabletop Simulator, like these little chips here. You know, I made these by just importing the graphic and dropping it onto a round chip. You know, obviously the dice come with the game, right? The board I imported, all the cards I imported. I made things like these little explanatory sheets that tell you what everything does, right? There's even little, these cards are in Tabletop Simulator, and you could put lists of explanations there of how things work. I imported these little coins that I made, and then these little calculators are also part of Tabletop Simulator. These cards are all things that I made and imported. So here's a creepy monster card. Let's see if we can see him. Let me go down here. Let's see. Okay, so here's a creepy monster card, right? So, yeah, I know. Anyway, and you can also do things like in Tabletop Simulator, you can choose the background picture, and of course, you can make a custom table and stuff like that. And of course, down here in the lower left-hand corner, it's got its own chat built in, so you don't necessarily have to use Discord while you're in Tabletop Simulator. Well, let me rephrase that. It's just a text chat as far as I know. I don't know that it's a voice chat. So, does anybody know if that's a voice chat as well?
There's a voice chat if you hold down C.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. So that's nice to know. Okay. Anybody else want to see anything else before we get out of this? Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to escape this thing. The way you get out of here is you go to menu, you go main menu, you say you want to exit the game, and then you have to click this little power switch. It'll shut down Tabletop Simulator, and then of course if you want to, you can quit Steam, and then you're good to go, right? Okay. All right. So what I'm thinking right now is I think I would like to give you guys a little time during class to work with your teams. Go ahead and see what you can get done now, and also maybe coordinate whatever plans you have for meeting, before Monday to get additional things done. Does anybody have any questions at all before you get started? Okay.
I don't know if I missed it, but like, do we actually have like when is the due date for this assignment?
No, you didn't miss it. So I should make this clear. So I'm not the type of instructor that says, your game is due on September 15th, and then you work towards that deadline. The way that I work is I set mini deadlines that allow you to create components, and then once everybody is in a place where I think they can reach the final deadline, then I'll set a final deadline. So for example, an example of a next deadline I might set for you guys, I'm not saying this is a deadline, I'm just saying, okay, I might say to you guys, okay, by next Wednesday, let's have everybody at least sketch out, everybody that's working on a board game, at least sketch out a board that we can see, right? And everybody that's working on a card game, at least have sketches of all your major cards so that we can see. So in other words, we just keep moving forward to these mini goals. And then, once I see that everybody in the class is on a good trajectory and can easily meet a hard and fast deadline, then I'll give you one of those.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Other questions?
What was the website you used for the 3D models?
Okay, great question. Let me go there. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it. So I don't know how much you guys know about 3D printing, but one of the players, one of the bigger players, is a company called MakerBot, and they created this website called Thingiverse. And on Thingiverse, you can see, of course, the ever popular Baby Yoda sculpture right there, right? On Thingiverse, look at this. Baby Yoda has been downloaded 16,000 times. Okay. On Thingiverse, you can search for things that you want, but if you're going to use them in your game, I would highly recommend that you only take things that have a license that says commercial free. I'll give you an example. Okay, I wanted to find a boat for one of my games. So I typed in boat, and what happens is, you can look around, you can look at, a lot of them are just going to be toys, but some of them will actually be 3D models or whatever. And, and there's several pages of this. Let me put you guys down here. There's several pages of this that you can go through, and let's say, I want to try and find an example of one that I can use and one that I can't use. Okay, so let's say that I thought this boat was pretty cool and I wanted to use it. Well, what you do is you click on it, and you scroll down and it tells you the licensing, right? Which is right here. Now, as long as it doesn't have a little $ here, you're okay to use it. This is a Creative Commons license, which allows you to use it. This is an attribution license right here, which means you have to give credit to these people, Chicago Robot. And share alike means, if you make something, you got it free, so you're supposed to be able to share it free, right? But this doesn't stop you from being able to use this in your commercial product, like if you wanted to sell your game. Now, let me show you an example of one that they don't want you to use. In other words, one that does have a commercial license. And of course, I'm just guessing, so that's hard for me. I'll just randomly click on a few until I find one that has a little $ symbol on it. Oh, I got lucky. Okay. So you see somebody spent a lot of time making these bathtub boats, right? And basically, this is a non-commercial license, which means you can use this personally, but you can't sell it. So you wouldn't want to have something like this in your game, because if you ever wanted to sell your game or even sell access to your game, you wouldn't legally be doing that. So that's my recommendation to you, is when you find something on here, before you fall in love with it and say it's the perfect thing, scroll down and make sure that it doesn't have a non-commercial attachment to it, so that you can use it for all future purposes.
That's some nasty nail fungus.
Creepy.
Yeah, that is. Ooh. Yeah, and that's probably the best part of this site, is that they have these weirdo ads, Anyway, any other questions or anything? Okay, why don't you guys work on your games? I'll check in with you right before the class ends, see if you have any questions. And then I'm going to turn my video off, but my audio will still be on. So if you have a question, just say something and I'll jump back in. Let me check the chat here, see if anybody has a question. Thingiverse is really good. I can vouch for it, says Coulter. Sketchfab is another good site for 3D models. Okay, so check those out as well. Okay, why don't you get with your groups, your teams, and work on your projects.
Hey, Nick. Hey. Okie dokie.
Yeah, or is somebody trying to talk to me?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm apparently not muted here. Whoops.
Oh, okay, got it.